After drawing an angle, you're going to need to have information like what the reference angle is and what coterminal angles there are. Now, a reference angle just tells you how far you are from the x-axis. So if we go to an example like 200 degrees, we already know how to draw it. We start with the positive x-axis and we draw a ray. We go past 90, we go past 180, and how much more are we going? The reference angle is how far we are from the x-axis. So if we know it's 180 to the x-axis, we need another 20 degrees. Now let's say we said negative 300 degrees. As we look at this, and it's a negative angle, from the positive x-axis we're going negative 90, negative 180, negative 270, and 30 more. But that's not how far we are from the x-axis. The reference angle, which I do like to use the symbol theta with a little caret over it for reference angle. Okay, this reference angle, how far are we from the x-axis? Since a full degree rotation is 360 and we're looking at negative 300, we still have 60 degrees to go. Reference angles are always positive. Even if the original angle is negative, the distance to the x-axis is always a positive number. This also works now if we did something beyond 360 degrees, beyond a full rotation. So if we went right to that original example I think I did last video was negative 400. So if you look at negative 400, we would have to go negative 360 and 40 more to get negative 400. So the reference angle, how far are we from the x-axis? If this full rotation is 360, how much more are we going to get to the back to the x-axis? 360 plus what makes 400? And you have the reference angle is 40. So those are reference angles. Okay, now I want to talk about coterminal. Coterminal is an angle that starts and ends in the same exact spot. So basically, you are always going to just add or subtract 360 degrees to get a coterminal. So if I go back up to 200 degrees, if I wanted to take away 360 from 200, I believe I would have negative 160, right? So if you started at 200 and you were to go another way, you could see this is negative 160 degrees because together their absolute value does add to 360. Also, if I looked at 200, I could say negative 60, but I could say 200 plus another 360, which is 560 degrees. So coterminal in general is just the same beginning and end point, but either more or less rotations. So literally, if you take 200 degrees and subtract 360, you get this answer. If you take 200 and you add 360, you get this answer. Now, sometimes you might have to add or subtract 360 more than once to get a positive, or you might have to add or subtract it more than once to get a negative, but in general, really, a coterminal starts and ends in the same spot, so you're just adding or subtracting 360.